It's a turtle.
You have a turtle.
Yeah, we call it actually Bitcoin. Hello.
Actually waved.
What's up, Crypto Crew, and welcome back. Or if this is your first time, I'm Captain Crypto Mite, actively escaping the matrix, scoping out the crypto ocean. So if you like your odds, get on the boat, stay up to date, thumbs up, and join the hunt.
Into the boat!
Crypto Crew, today we got Kaspa Originator Yonatan Sompolinsky, who sat down with Vlad of the Bitcoin Takeover Podcast, unpacking a variety of topics and answering a whole bunch of questions. So shout out to these men and shout out to the Caspians who pulled up, as this session took well over 7 hours. A lot to unpack, Crypto Crew.
Give me a second, I'll switch it up.
Prove all things, hold fast that which is good. Crypto Crew, protect your crypto investments through self-custody. In our opinion, the best option for you is the Tangent wallet. Easy to use, plug and play, and the most affordable cold storage out there. You can get 10% off using code CryptoCrew, link in the description box below. Thanks so much for your consideration and support in advance, and may the Lord Jesus Christ bless you all.
My pet is making noise.
Is that a cat?
It's a turtle.
You have a turtle.
Yeah, we call it actually Bitcoin. Hello.
Actually waved.
Yeah, we released it and then he came back, so I guess the tie with Bitcoin is unavoidable. So,
apart from Yonatan's turtle named Bitcoin, there were so many gems in this session which we will attempt to uncover over the course of the next period. But let's start with a part that came later up in this session, where I personally asked a question about Yonatan and Aviv's proposal during the early Bitcoin days.
Your Crypto Crew says, if this wasn't asked yet, can Yonatan disclose why his and Aviv's proposals for scaling Bitcoin in the early to mid-2010s were rejected or ignored?
no one seriously considered proposing to Bitcoin core devs updating Bitcoin protocol back then. It was the heat of the big block debates. The fact that Bitcoin Core were aware of these ideas doesn't mean this entered their top priority. And again, the big block debates were the main thing that occupied everyone's mind in terms of scaling Bitcoin, scaling crypto in general. And initially, I was just in the position of learning, not in the position of proposing changes. And also, by the way, by the time that Ghost Protocol was cited in Ethereum white paper, we already knew that it doesn't achieve what we thought it achieves. We already were not deep, but in the journey of DAG protocols. So we were kind of surprised that Ghost appeared in the white paper without consulting us, for the mere fact that we already had insights about its properties. Even if Bitcoin Core were more attentive, it took me years, for instance, to prove Spectre protocol. The protocol was invented like maybe 2.5 years before I completed its proof. So the timescales are just different. Both the timescales were different than people imagine, and the priorities of Bitcoin Core were different at the time, and I guess for good reasons.
Bitcoin Recipe in the chat wants to know if you wish that you would have stayed anonymous.
Personally, of course, but it wouldn't be genuine as long as it's declaredly a platform that embraces innovation. As long as there's innovation that I'm heavily involved in to perfect Kaspa's sequencing properties and consensus properties, then being anonymous would be less genuine, unless the point is pseudonymous. But then since pseudonymous has almost the same, if not more, control. For me personally, of course, I would prefer to be anonymous, and I aspire in the long term to not be around. I'm actually waiting for this more than some would suspect. I don't like the burden of being around, and I want to have the freedom to research and innovate in other areas, and go back to my more tranquil lifestyle. So from my personal perspective, definitely this was not a good move. But from the protocol perspective, while it's a definitely negative for Kaspa that I am not anonymous. Currently, it's not a net negative because I'm still heavily involved in innovation. And at the moment, this will no longer be the case. I'll be the first to run out the window. I'll need no help in that.
Do you envision that there will be a moment when Kaspa is complete and there is nothing else that you want to add to it?
Yes. For me, there's DAG-Night and the vProg design. And then afterwards, I want the main research I was working as a postdoc in Harvard, and then currently as a research associate in Harvard, is on a new design of smart contracts or maybe a new flow for VMs and smart contract transactions. I see this as a very meaningful upgrade to the way transactions are sequenced in crypto. But the paper hasn't been released yet, and the community it hasn't been peer reviewed yet, neither by the academic community nor by Kaspa community. If this proposal is accepted, it will be another meaningful upgrade. I guess less to the L1. L1 will be less affected by it. I don't know if it's a huge upgrade or a minor upgrade with very large potential. I think it's more the latter. Like it's a moderate upgrade. It doesn't affect L1 almost at all, but it does affect the flow of L2. And if this research is solidified and the proposal is accepted, then this does create another heavy lifting project for us. But for my own personal aspirations, both for me and for the project, I view that as perfecting the sequence. The sequencer is then perfect, or at least sufficiently perfect. And for me, it's complete. This is not to say that Kaspa will forbid hard forks, but it will become more rare and require more justifications. And I guess I will aspire to be much less involved, if not at all removed.
Ours Ghosty, I think, says, how do you think the community could improve? This includes community developers and community annex.
Thanks for this question. The community can, I think, become more informed on crypto in general. That will help everyone understand what Kaspa contributed and what it borrowed from other projects. If someone wants to be a very good promoter of Kaspa or advocate for Kaspa, I really suggest knowing a lot about Ethereum, Solana, of course, but Ethereum mainly, Bitcoin mainly. Like many of the things that we are innovating are deeply rooted. Their V1 was innovated by others, and appreciating our innovations and contributions must be in the context of those previous works. I think if you take the power of Kaspa community today and combine it with some more context on crypto, I think that's an unstoppable force. But it requires this effort of, I would say, curating context on crypto. Like, for instance, the ZK rollups, understanding that this in and of itself is not an innovation that stemmed from our community. Understanding that most of Kaspa's, or the base layer, the base ideas are, of course, rooted in Bitcoin. Not to downplay our contribution, rather to position them correctly. Of course, the lack of context was also very facilitative and has the true benefit of being loyally enthusiastic about Kaspa, and it's a very loyal to the project, a very self-loyal community. I think combining this with slightly more context on crypto would become a game changer in terms of community outreach, the project's outreach. I think other founders would find it more difficult to ignore Kaspa if this change or development takes place. So.
Crypto Crew, it's been a while since I've heard Yonatan Sompolinsky, certainly in an interview setting, and I'm not sure if Yonatan ever did an interview like this one. Again, shout out to Vlad of the Bitcoin Takeover Podcast, and shout out to all the Caspians and everyone else who showed up for this 7+ hour session.
Yeah, what is this?
Oh, this is the blockdag.
So this is a visualizer of the blocks that are being mined right now?
Yes, this is like Bitcoin with internet speed. Pardon my cliche, but this is it's very beautiful. It's clean proof of work. There's nothing that there's no tricks. There's no super nodes. Miners are anonymous or pseudonymous. There's no committee running this. There's no rotating committees. No BFT. And everything here, pure proof of work.
We got more incoming, Crypto Crew, so stay tuned. Prove all things, hold fast that which is good.
Stick around.
Fix your mind before you get to the grind. And with that said, let's continue to escape the matrix. Let's continue to be on the lookout for the next big thing here on the crypto ocean. Grow in grace, and let's make some crypto waves. Say aye.